Alrighty, so as you can see by the title here, in this video, we are discussing the optimal sale launch strategy for e-commerce businesses. So this is for you if you run an e-commerce business, you might have a sale going on right now or a big sale coming up, or just in general, you want the knowledge. So in this video, what we're going to be covering is how you can really squeeze the most revenue from your email list throughout this sale period. So just for a bit of context here, I'll move myself out the way. We recently just signed a client for email marketing, and within just under 2 weeks of signing, we generated just under $30,000 with our sale strategy, our email sale campaign strategy, right? Now, this works for brands big and small. As you can see, this brand here doing an extra 2 million every single month using our strategies. This brand here doing an extra 72%, a smaller brand, but obviously this strategy works for e-commerce businesses, big and small. So enough of that, let's jump into the strategy. So before we get into the actual emails themselves and the content you want to be including, there's a couple of important things you need to know. First of all, you shouldn't base your entire email strategy around discounting, right? This sale launch strategy is only going to work if 80% of the time the emails you're sending out are content and informational based emails. Okay, you need to be sending out content focused emails rather than sales focused emails, because you start to dilute the message when all you're sending is discount emails. And what you're actually doing as well, which most brands don't realize, is you're training your customers to buy only when you send out a discount. It's never, ever a good spot to be in. You do not want to be doing this, right? The next thing, you never just want to send one email for a big sale. Now, this is another massive error that I see e-commerce businesses making. And before clients will come and work with us, this is exactly what they'll be doing. They'll have a big sale event, Christmas, Black Friday, whatever it might be. And instead of actually planning a campaign sequence, they're just sending one campaign where if they even add just an extra 2 or 3 emails in there, they could potentially be driving, an extra 100% of revenue from the email list, right? It's really that powerful. And yeah, that's just never a good idea to send just one email. Next thing is you want to remind the list often of the sale that's going on right now. So it kind of ties into what I mentioned before. You want to be sending consistent reminders because first thing, not everyone's going to open up your initial launch email, but you also want to be showing people the value in your products so you can actually get them to come and buy, right? So you want to be sending multiple emails around the sale when a sale launches. Okay, another thing is plain text emails absolutely crush for sales reminder emails, and it's not just for sale reminder emails. Plain text emails in general for e-commerce businesses absolutely crush. So if you want to address it from the founder, that's always a good idea, but it's just something definitely to keep in mind. And the final thing here, if you're launching a big sale, you want to exclude people who have placed an order in the last 30 days or so, because it's most likely that you'll run into some unhappy customers. Because let's say a customer placed an order for $1,000 worth of product, and the next day they're getting a 30% off discount. Chances are they're going to be pretty unhappy that they missed out on a $300 saving, right? So you want to be excluding people that have placed an order in the last 30 days. You can play around with this time frame, but 30 days is usually a good place to start. That's the kind of good middle ground that we've found usually works, where you're not going to get too many people, complaining that they've missed the sale. So now we've got the important notes out of the way, a couple of key things to keep in mind when you're creating your sale launch campaigns. Now we can actually jump into the emails themselves and show you what content you want to be creating. So email 1 is your VIP email. Okay, so this is to your VIP customers, and your VIP customers are people who have placed an order 2, 3, or 4 times with your brand, right? These are the first people that you should announce the sales to. And you want to make this a plain text email and make sure the messaging calls them out specifically as a VIP. So if you're sending an email specifically to VIPs, you want to let them know to build that brand loyalty, to tell them, hey, you're a loyal customer of ours. We want to give you first access to the product at the discounts, at the stock, whatever it might be, okay? And I want to show you an example of a good VIP discount email. So this was done by my team for a brand. As you can see here, it's a very simple sort of just addressing it from one of the founders as a VIP customer, like I said, calling out the fact that they are a VIP, and then obviously explaining the offer a little bit more, what they get, and then a very simple call to action, plain text email. This obviously did very, very well. This email always does well because it builds brand loyalty, and you're targeting your most loyal subscribers, meaning it's always going to drive a ton of revenue. So next is going to be your sale launch email. Now, typically this will drive the most revenue via email for your sale, right? So this is your big send. So this is going to be to a nice and wide open engaged segment or your entire list of active subscribers if you have a clean list. It's very important. If you're going to send to your whole list, make sure the list is clean. Make sure you've got rid of any invalid emails or suspicious emails, okay? Like I said, for e-commerce, this will be most likely be a designed email that follows a typical e-commerce structure. So clear, big CTA, hero image, copy, and then recommend some products in this as well. So it's very simple for the customer to make a buying decision. So an example of this is over here. So different sale for the same brand, but as you can see here, obviously introducing it and, suggesting some products here, and what's great about the product at the bottom with a final call to action at the end here. Now, notice that the copy here isn't very fluffy, right? There's not a lot of copy. And that's because when you're sending a discount and your list hasn't seen a discount in a while, you don't have to do much selling. The discount alone is going to do the bulk of the selling. So keep that in mind when you're creating these emails, right? So that's the second email. So your launch email. This is typically going to be the one that drives the most revenue. Next one is your plain text reminder email. So like we mentioned before, plain text emails crush as sales reminder emails. Now, just one thing to know, you obviously want to be spacing out these emails. So this gets sent on, day one or a couple of days before the launch. This one gets sent maybe 2 days after, 3 days after. You just want to play around the time delays. This isn't a case where you're sending back-to-back emails on, back-to-back days, right? You want to space this out over the course of a couple of weeks if you can, right? So email 3, your plain text reminder email. So this email is simple. So this would be a plain text message. So from the founder, preferably, like we mentioned before, that simply restates the discount once again. So that here. So you want to make it have a very personal touch and you want to keep it short, okay? Like I mentioned, plain text emails absolutely crush for e-commerce. So the messaging here, all you're doing is kind of just restating the messaging again, just putting the offer back in front of your list's inbox, back to the top of the inbox of your list. So it's really standing out. Another thing to note with plain text emails as well is they're great for deliverability. So if you're having a deliverability issue, one of the highest leverage things you can do to actually get back into the primary inbox is start sending more plain text emails because they look native to the platform. And obviously your email service providers scan your emails for the content, all that kind of different stuff. If you're sending plain text emails, they do wonders for your deliverability. So this is a great option. Now, email 4 is the final call email. So this is your last big final call to your engaged segment. So this can either be a plain text or a design. It does depend on the brand. You want to restate the sale once again, maybe add some reviews and just really stack the value, right? So really help the customer or the potential customer on the list see the value in the products that you're offering and why they should come through and actually purchase. Okay, so that's email 4. Now, email 4 is a final call resend. Now, I would only recommend doing a resend for a big sale that you are really, really trying to squeeze the most revenue out of. Now, the reason for this is because resends can sometimes hurt your deliverability, because basically what you're going to do is send your final call email again. So it's the exact same content to non-openers of the first of this campaign here. So anyone that didn't open the final call, we're going to send it to them again. So the way you do this is you create a segment of anybody that has opened email 4 and then exclude them from this campaign send here, and basically send to the same list again, right? So this is going to get extra opens from customers that otherwise would have not seen the email, right? So one thing what you want to do here is you want to change the subject line, because if someone's looking at both emails, you don't want them to look the same from the inbox level. You want them to look different. So change up the subject line. It might just be a slight change. So instead of, hey, save 10%, it might just be, 10% off sale ending tonight or whatever it might be. So this always works very, very well, especially have a big email list, because you can actually get a lot more opens from people that didn't open the first final call email. So here are those examples. Once again, if you want some ideas of what some good sales emails that perform very well look like. But in general, this is the overview. This is the strategy that we're implementing for clients when they're launching a big sale. You can either add emails or remove emails to this stack, obviously depending on the size of your list and the goal of everything. But if you do want to talk about how we can implement this for your e-commerce brand, so if you run an e-commerce business, you're lacking on the email marketing side, maybe you're working with an agency who's not delivering the results they promised, you want to get set up for success before Black Friday, you absolutely want to make sure that you're squeezing the most revenue from your email list out of Black Friday, go over to my site, strikecopy.com, check out some of my case studies, have a read of our process, and I will send you our full process in depth. Okay, if you book a call, I will send you the full process, and I can sort of walk you through it on a call as well. And I'll also assess if we're a fit to work together, and it might make you an offer. So that's the whole process. I hope you got some value out of this. Feel free to DM me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I'll leave both of those in the document here and the YouTube video. Thanks.